Complete FS. We're a specialist mortgage packager and distributor. Probably one of the longest established. We've been trading since 1993, so in almost 23 years. We really specialise in the sort of more complex buy-to-let and residential areas. That's sort of area where maybe a high street lender doesn't operate, either through credit score systems or just through difficult areas that they don't work in, so adverse mortgages maybe. Also, I think we've seen ourselves sort of develop and evolve in the last sort of 4 or 5 years into the more complex complex buy-to-let cases, should I say. So things like HMOs, student lets, expats, and more recently limited company buy-to-let. So I guess that's the sort of main areas that we operate in. In addition to that, over the last 4 to 5 years, the business has evolved, as the industry has, and we also operate in the second charge business and bridging and commercial. So quite diverse, a little bit different to my colleagues here, in as much as we have a much more diverse proposition at the moment.
One thing our brokers again are asking is why they would come to a packager as opposed to going to one of the many lenders on the Legal & General standard mortgage panel?
Sure. Firstly, I've got to compliment your mortgage desk. Jodie and her team do a fantastic job. But I think they primarily deal with lenders that are sort of what I would call high street core lenders. I think we complement that service that they offer because our area of expertise is really the sort of specialist market. Now, what does that encompass? Well, a whole array of things, anything from high street turndowns where a client doesn't fit credit score, right the way through to the sort of the buy-to-let community that has diversified quite substantially in recent years with HMO, student lets, limited company buy-to-lets, expats. So there's a whole array of specialist areas associated with buy-to-let that I think has emerged very strongly in the last few years. In addition to that, as my colleagues have mentioned here, we also are active in the second charge market, the bridging and commercial market. So I think Complete offer a slightly different proposition in as much as we're quite diverse in the sort of customer solutions that we can offer. We only deal with the intermediaries, so we're not a business to consumer company. So everything we do and try to do is to make life a bit easier for the intermediary.
And is there still a need for a packager in the current market? I mean, your demise was predicted by many after the crash, but you're still here.
Ironic that the main people that predicted that demise aren't with us any longer, isn't it? So there you go. Listen, 2007, 2008, everyone had a tough time, and we weren't excluded from that. We lost many good lenders, high street lenders, so much larger corporate companies than us packagers. Some of us dug in there, and it was difficult, very challenging, and we sort of got through it, and somehow we got through it. I think the interesting thing will be how we've evolved, and certainly at Complete, up to 2007, we were really a mortgage and loan packager, specialist distributor, aggregator. We had various names. I think what we were, I guess, clever at doing is evolving, bringing on some other areas of finance. As I've said, bridging and commercial in particular for Complete is something that we've really only been in the last sort of 4 to 5 years. But that's added some growth to us, some stability because of the diversification.
And some of the areas where a broker would be better using a packager than going direct to a lender. Sure.
I think the main difference is that our panel of lenders is generally not credit score driven. So I think that the lenders that do a fantastic job of taking maybe 80-85% of the market, but there's that sort of 15 to 20% of the market, which is 100% of what we do. And that's where we sit, and that's where I think where we can add a little bit of value. It's the case that doesn't quite fit, or either on credit score, or doesn't quite fit on income maybe, or there's something quirky about it because it's a self-employed applicant. There's an area that's sort of evolved since MMR and in particular. And I think they're the areas where we can add that little bit of expertise. Also, sometimes it's about how we present the case, the in-depth knowledge we have. I mean, there are sourcing systems out there which do a fantastic job for maybe 80 or 85% of the market, but that 15 to 20% of the market probably needs that little bit more detail. And the sourcing systems don't really maybe cascade quite enough. And I don't think they ever will. They do a great job, but I don't think they'll ever replace the experience and knowledge that the staff have that have been working in that environment 100% of the time.
Going through the rest of 2016, are there certain parts of the criteria or particular lenders that you'll be focusing on to try and increase your proposition?
I think, yeah, I think we're seeing it. I mean, last year and this year, I think we're seeing some new lenders come to market. The benefit that gives some of the distributors like ourselves is that they may want to have a gradual approach, so don't really want to go to whole of market. And I think what they're bringing with them, a little bit like in sort of the early 2000s, is innovation. They're looking at niche areas and in particular focusing on them. I've mentioned self-employed. So I think that's an area that's really evolved in the last year or so, and I can see that evolving even more. Lending into later life, I think that's the right term now. I think that's an area that we're going to see evolve. We may even see some of the high street lenders starting to come into that space. But at the moment, it sort of sits in the specialist arena. I'm not sure if that will be the case long term. And I think with the obviously changes that are happening in the buy-to-let community at the moment, I think we're going to see some real evolution with limited company buy-to-lets and how that looks. And we're experiencing a little bit of that change already. So I think 2016 is quite an exciting year, actually, which is great to say, you know.
Excellent. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. It's been a really interesting insight to what our Club Extras partners can provide to support our brokers. We all need to give a holistic service to customers, and Club Extras really does help you to do that all under one roof. So I hope you found today inspiring, and help from our partners is there for you to assist even more and more customers. Thank you again, as always. Thank you for watching.